Let me ask you something real. Have you ever felt that heat rise in your chest when someone disrespects you? That uncontrollable tension in your jaw when life doesn't go your way? You don't yell, not yet. But it's there, boiling, simmering just beneath the surface. That's not just frustration. That's a demon, but not the kind with horns and red eyes. No, this one's worse. This one lives inside you, and you feed it every time you let anger win. Think about it. How many arguments have you lost not with words, but with emotions? How many relationships have you burned because you reacted too fast, too loud, too blind? And how often, after it's all over, do you realize it didn't make you stronger? It made you weaker. That's what anger does. It disguises itself as power, but all it really gives you is regret. And yet, we keep feeding it. Why? Because we've been taught that anger is strength. That shouting means you're in control. That to be respected, you need to strike back harder. But what if that's a lie? What if the most powerful person is the one who doesn't react at all? Let me introduce you to someone who lived that truth. A man who faced death more than 60 times and never lost. Not once. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. You may have heard of him. Legendary Japanese swordsman. But what you might not know is that he wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. He didn't win because he overpowered his opponents. He won because he refused to be controlled by emotion. Musashi walked into every duel like a stone entering a storm. Cold, focused, unshaken. He didn't fight with anger. He fought with clarity, and that made him terrifying. Now, I'm not saying you need to pick up a sword or live in 16th century Japan. But I am saying this. If you want real power in your life, power over your reactions, your choices, your future, then you need to learn how to kill the anger inside you. Because here's the truth. You'll never be free if every insult pulls your strings. You'll never be strong if you explode every time things go wrong. Musashi understood something we often forget. Anger doesn't make you dominant. It makes you predictable. And a predictable person is easy to control. So here's the question we're going to answer today. How do you destroy anger before it destroys you? How do you walk through life like Musashi, calm while others panic, steady while others rage, unshakable in a world that tries to provoke you at every turn? In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the mindset, the discipline, and the quiet philosophy that made Musashi unbeatable, not just in battle, but in life. And by the end, you won't just understand his way. You'll be ready to live it. Let's begin. Let's dive deeper now into the war that most people never see. Because the battle that matters most isn't out there. It's inside you. And if you want to win, you have to understand one thing. Anger is a puppet string. And every time you lose your temper, someone else is pulling it. Let that sink in. You're not powerful when you explode. You're not dominant when you raise your voice. You're not in control when you snap back or lash out. In fact, that's the moment you give your power away. You're showing the world exactly where to poke, what to say, how to control you. That's what Musashi understood early in his journey. He wasn't just a swordsman. He was a student of psychology before the word even existed. He knew anger isn't strength. It's a weakness, a leash. The more reactive you are, the easier you are to manipulate. Remember this quote by Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. If you are disturbed by external things, it is not they that trouble you, but your own judgment of them. Read that again. Because if someone can make you angry, they can make you do anything. Musashi refused to be that man. He trained himself, not just to fight, but to observe. To walk through chaos with a monk's calm. He faced insults. He faced threats. He faced death. But he never flinched, never gave them the reaction they wanted. That silence, that control, that was his real weapon. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Let me tell you a story. Musashi wasn't even 20 when he challenged Arima Kihei, one of the finest swordsmen in Japan. Kihei came prepared for a formal duel. He expected honor, ritual, two swordsmen meeting steel to steel. Musashi showed up with a wooden stick, dirty, underdressed, and completely silent. Kihei mocked him, laughed, taunted. Any other young man would have cracked, would have shouted back, would have thrown a punch out of pride. But Musashi? He waited, still, watching, calculating. Then, without warning, he struck. One blow. Kihei collapsed, dead. No rage, no noise, just precision, just awareness. Musashi didn't fight like a man. He fought like death itself. Not driven by emotion, but by mastery. Blank. Underscore. Blank. See. Musashi saw the mind like a blade. Let it rust with anger, and it dulls. Keep it still, clean, and quiet, and it cuts through anything. You might think anger helps you win arguments. It doesn't. It just proves you're losing control. You might think it gives you strength in conflict. No. It gives your enemies a blueprint. They see your buttons. They see what gets under your skin. And now, they own you. Anger is not strength. Control is. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Let's get real for a second. Why do you get angry? Because someone cut you off in traffic? Because your boss didn't appreciate your work? Because your partner didn't say what you needed to hear? You get angry because you think the world should work the way you want. You think people should act how you expect. You think life owes you something. But here's the truth. It doesn't. Musashi lived with no expectations. He trained himself to expect nothing from anyone. He walked alone, slept in dirt, ate whatever was available. He stripped himself of comfort. Not out of punishment, but preparation. Because the fewer illusions you have about the world, the less power it has over you. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And that leads us to one of Musashi's most powerful lessons. Kill the ego. Kill the fire. At its root, anger is pride in disguise. You don't get mad because life is cruel. You get mad because your image is under attack. Someone disrespects you, you feel invisible. Someone questions your worth, that's the ego screaming. But Musashi? He starved his ego. He didn't care about fancy clothes. Didn't need applause. Didn't chase status. Because he knew, the more your identity depends on how others see you, the easier it is for them to destroy you. A man with nothing to prove is a man no one can provoke. When you kill the ego, insults become noise, criticism becomes feedback, rejection becomes freedom, and anger, it dies, because there's nothing left to defend. Blank. Underscore. blank. So how did Musashi train this way? Not in a gym. Not in front of a mirror. Not with hype music or self-help quotes. He trained by choosing discomfort. Voluntarily, repeatedly. He slept outside, ate minimally, avoided praise, comfort, and distraction. Why? Because a comfortable mind is a fragile mind. And a fragile mind is always angry. You want to master your emotions? Cut one comfort today. Just one. Take cold showers. Skip sugar. Delete that app you check 20 times a day. It's not about suffering. It's about taking back control. When you live without needing comfort, you stop reacting when it's taken from you. And what's left? Calm, clarity, power, blank, underscore, blank. Let's end with Musashi's most legendary fight. Sasaki Kojira, a national celebrity, fast, precise, deadly. Everyone expected a fierce clash. But Musashi? He showed up late, on purpose. He let Kojira boil in rage. Kojira was furious, unfocused, unbalanced. Musashi stepped off his boat, calm as stone. Holding a wooden sword, Kojira lunged. Musashi struck. One blow. Kojira fell. Anger lost. Silence won. Blank. Underscore. Blank. This is the way of Musashi. Not for cosplay. Not for fantasy. But for real life. In a world that's always poking. Shouting. Provoking. The strongest man is the one who doesn't move. So if you want to master anger, don't fight it. Starve it. Cut its roots. Train your mind like a blade. Get comfortable with discomfort. Live with nothing to prove. And one day, when the world throws chaos your way, you'll smile. Because you'll know, real power doesn't react. It watches. It waits. And when the time comes, it strikes once. So what does this all mean for you? Are we just here to talk about a samurai from the 1600s? No, because this isn't about becoming a warrior with a sword. It's about becoming a warrior in your mind. Musashi's legacy isn't in his duels. It's in the way he lived, the mindset he mastered, and the code he followed, silently, relentlessly, without needing praise. His path was forged in 4 core values: emptiness, detachment, precision, silence. Let that sink in for a second. The world today teaches the opposite. It says, react quickly, speak louder, expect more, and show everything. But where does that get us? Burnt out, angry, constantly chasing validation that never truly satisfies. Musashi offers us a different way. A quieter way. A path where your strength is measured not by how loud you can roar, but by how deeply you can stay still. So if you're tired of being reactive, if you're done letting people, problems, and chaos pull you out of your peace, then maybe it's time you started walking the path Musashi walked. Let me leave you with 3 truths he lived by. Not quotes to memorize, but principles to live. First, stop reacting. Start observing. Every time you react without thinking, you give away control. But when you pause, even just for a moment, you shift the power back into your hands. Try it next time someone pushes your buttons. Don't respond. Just breathe. Watch what happens. The world loses its grip on you when you refuse to dance to its rhythm. Second, let go of expectation. Embrace detachment. Musashi didn't expect comfort, applause, or fairness. And because of that, he couldn't be disappointed. When you stop needing the world to behave how you want, you start discovering a power most people never touch. The freedom of letting go. Third, stop shouting. Start sharpening. Loud people burn out, but sharp people? They cut through life with clarity. Train in silence. Build in solitude. Grow in the dark. It's not glamorous, but it works. Musashi once said, "The way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death." That's not a call to morbidity. It's a call to fearlessness. Because once you accept the worst-case scenario, once you stop fearing discomfort, rejection, failure, or even death, you become unshakable. What can offend a man who needs nothing from anyone? What can provoke someone who has no ego left to protect? What can break a mind trained to stay calm through chaos? Nothing. And that's the goal. Not to be admired. Not to be famous. Not to be the loudest voice in the room. But to be the one person who's calm when everyone else is losing their minds. To be the eye in the storm. To be the stillness in the fire. That is real power. And it's available to you, right now, if you're willing to take the first step. So, start today. Cut one reaction. Detach from one expectation. Silence one outburst. Sharpen one part of your mind. And keep going. Quietly. Because at the end of this quiet path, there are no medals, no cheering crowds, no big moment, just a version of you that can no longer be shaken. And that is the most dangerous version of all. So if this message spoke to something deep inside you, if it reminded you that silence is not weakness, that restraint is not submission, that real power is forged quietly, then don't let it end here. Take this energy with you. And if you want more lessons like this, more wisdom from the shadows, more strength in stillness, subscribe to the channel. Because this isn't just a video. It's a movement. A place for those who are done shouting and ready to sharpen. I'll see you in the next one.